Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. One thing you'll notice here is that the ES remains in an uptrending market. It remains within the boundaries of this uptrend, especially the PEMA trigger zone, where every time it gets inside that zone, it typically is a buying opportunity for a continuation to the upside. On Friday, we did see a nice little rejection here. Not the strongest rejection, but the initial signs of a rejection. And yesterday, Monday, price began to push through the previous week's midpoint, which opened the door to the previous week's high. However, by the end of the day, a failure had occurred. And you can see right here, we had a failed new high in the previous session, and price fell back into the previous day's range. And that is very reminiscent of what happened back here, where we had a strong top, price pulled back. Here's your buying opportunity. A failed new high develops right here, just like we're seeing here, and then the rest here leads to more weakness ahead. Now, right now, we're right at the midpoint of that rejection yesterday. We're right at the previous month's high right now. This is the key zone here to continue to watch. It's that 36.67 we talked about yesterday. That's still really the level to watch here, 36.67 to 36.70. And if price can't get through that zone today, that could be an initial indication that we could be headed lower. For example, after we had this day here, price did push higher, pushed just above that previous midpoint, and still failed by the end of the day. So to have an early move here in pre-market trading to the upside and to the previous mid here offers an opportunity for bears to come in and defend yet again. So is this going to be a defense at 36.68, 36.70 for a shot at more weakness ahead, or are bulls going to be able to push through that zone and eat through the tail of yesterday's range and start to push higher? Right now we do have FOMC on deck tomorrow, Wednesday at 1 o'clock p.m. Central, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern. It's the FOMC statement and the Fed interest rate decision. That's going to be important. Not expecting a whole lot of movement ahead of that event. But again, if price can't get through the 36.70s here, we may begin to see a little bit of back and forth in here that could ultimately lead to a pullback of a greater degree. So again, this is the key level right now. This is your template to continue to watch right here, and we'll see how that plays out. Because if there's a failure here, that could open up a bigger rotation to the downside. Again, from a longer term perspective, this 35.87 is still the big level to continue to watch. If price can't hold that, that's what will open up a bigger move. So right now, this market remains strong overall, but we're starting to see early signs of rejection. Okay, taking a look now at the NQ. You'll see this is a little bit different here. The NQ found strength here inside the PEMA trigger zone, as it already has a few times here, and now we're seeing price push higher. It's just above the previous session's high here, and that could still present an opportunity for a bull trap for bears. For the most part, if price can't stay above the previous high of 12,550, that could begin to rotate things downward. Overall, this market again remains bullish. It remains bullish here until proven otherwise, but we're right at that key range high. That is the 12,465s, and if price can't stay above that zone, or if we start to form a lower high or a rejection of some sort here, that could open up a pullback as deep as the 11,560s, which is the midpoint of this key range. So right now, everything's still pushing up right here, but again, with the market sitting just above the previous session's high, got to watch 12,550 here, because any failure there could rotate price back down a bit. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil. You'll see crude oil in the previous session was able to fall below the 46s but still see rejection. That was the key zone we talked about yesterday. Can price stay above 46, 46 quarter? It didn't for the early portion of the session. Instead, it dropped below 46s momentarily. In the trading room, we mentioned that the 8-period average has been bid. Price can get below it, but it has been being able to rally back out of that zone here lately. It's been very, very strong, this 8-period average, been bid so far, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. Price was able to rally off that zone and actually formed a bit of a buy signal here. So right now, this market remains very strong, remains bullish. We got the breakout from the 10-day range. We have a retest of the breakout point, and we remain higher. Now we are at resistance right now. 47.50 has been very clear resistance. You can see this 47.59 is the FOMC key level from a couple of years ago here. If price can push through that zone, it opens up the 49 to 50 zone ahead, which was our expectation when price broke up out of this narrow 10-day range several days ago. So right here, the midpoint is in play today, 46.50, 46.56. If price can continue to hold that zone here, we have more upside ahead in the near term. Any failure to hold 46, if today it fails to hold that zone, that could be a significant failure on a short-term basis. All right, let's take a look lastly at gold futures. Gold is above the 1850 level right now. We've seen price hold the 1825s, got as low as 1820 yesterday and was able to bounce. That was a strong low we mentioned yesterday in the pre-market video. We had an absorption signature develop, and so far that absorption signature has worked out tremendously to the upside. We are above the previous month's or previous week's range, the midpoint of previous week's range. That's bullish. We are through the 1850 level, which was resistance here, and that could open up a retest of the 1880 level ahead. Now again, we're right between two important levels here. You have the 1880 here, you have the 1825, 1820 level there, and that's kind of your zone. If it can push through this level, it opens up the upper 100 points here into 1980. If it continues to fail at 1880, then perhaps we may be looking at more weakness down ahead, and a dilation through 1820 would open the door to more lows. So right now we're still watching how this plays out here, but overall this higher low could lead to a bit more strength to the upside. If there's a failure to hold 1850 today, that could lead to some sort of rejection event. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.